The past clung to Emilia like a shroud, its icy fingers forever gripping her heart. It whispered haunting reminders in the stillness of the night, stealing her sleep and painting shadows on her soul. Her reflection in the mirror was that of a stranger, a woman etched with pain, her eyes reflecting a depth of sorrow that belied her youthful appearance. Each day felt like an eternity. Every breath a reminder of what she had lost, of the life that had been brutally ripped away from her. Memories, once cherished treasures, now felt like shards of glass, piercing her every thought, every dream. The laughter of children playing in the park was a sharp pang to her chest, a cruel reminder of the joy that seemed forever out of reach. The vibrant colours of the world seemed muted, as if she viewed life through a veil of tears. Her once infectious laughter was now a distant memory, replaced by a silence that spoke volumes of her unspoken pain. Emilia was a prisoner of her past, trapped in a cage of her own making, yearning for a freedom she feared she would never find. Into the depths of Emilia's despair came a flicker of light. A man named Ethan. He was a painter, his soul as colourful and vibrant as the canvases he created. His eyes, the blue of a summer sky, held a depth of understanding that saw past her carefully constructed walls, reaching the wounded heart within. Ethan was patient, his touch gentle as he navigated the labyrinth of her pain. He spoke of hope and second chances, his words like soft melodies that soothed her weary soul. He saw not the broken woman haunted by her past, but a beautiful soul yearning to be free. With every stolen glance, every shared laugh, a fragile hope began to bloom in Emilia's heart. Ethan's presence was like a warm embrace on a cold winter night, chasing away the shadows that had haunted her for so long. Slowly, cautiously, she allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, happiness was within reach. As days turned into weeks, Emilia found herself drawn to Ethan's warmth and kindness. His laughter was contagious, his presence a balm to her wounded spirit. He spoke of dreams and aspirations, painting a picture of a future she had long given up on. In his arms, she found solace, a sanctuary from the storm that raged within her. Their love story unfolded like a delicate flower, slowly unfurling its petals to the warmth of the sun. They shared intimate dinners, whispered secrets under the starlit sky, and danced to the rhythm of their beating hearts. Ethan's love was a lifeline, pulling her from the depths of her despair, showing her that even in the darkest of nights, stars still shone brightly. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, Emilia allowed herself to hope. Hope for a future free from the shackles of her past. Hope for a love that could heal her wounded soul. Hope for a life filled with the laughter and joy that had eluded her for so long. One morning, Emilia awoke with a wave of nausea. It was a feeling she hadn't experienced since. A memory flashed before her eyes, a bittersweet pang in her heart. The pregnancy test confirmed her suspicions. 2 pink lines staring back at her, a symbol of both hope and terror. The thought of carrying a life within her filled Emilia with a mixture of joy and trepidation. It was a chance to right the wrongs of the past, to experience the motherhood that had been so cruelly ripped away from her. Yet the shadow of her history loomed large, threatening to consume the fragile happiness she had found. Could she be a good mother, knowing the darkness that resided within her? Would the joy of a child be enough to erase the pain of her past? The questions swirled in her mind, a tempest threatening to shatter the fragile peace she had found in Ethan's arms. The sterile walls of the doctor's office seemed to close in on Emilia, amplifying the tremor in her hands. Ethan sat beside her, his warmth a stark contrast to the cold fear that gripped her heart. The doctor, a kind-faced woman with gentle eyes, smiled reassuringly as she reviewed the ultrasound images. "Everything looks perfectly healthy," the doctor announced, her voice filled with professional cheer. "Congratulations, you're having twins." Twins! The word hit Emilia like a ton of bricks, sending a shockwave through her body. It was more than she could have ever imagined, a blessing that filled her with both elation and terror. But as the doctor continued, her next words shattered Emilia's world, leaving her gasping for air. "Given your medical history," the doctor said, her voice laced with concern, "I've taken the liberty of running some additional tests. The results are unexpected." The doctor's words hung in the air, sharp as shards of glass. They pierced the fragile bubble of Emilia's newfound happiness, leaving her reeling in a maelstrom of confusion and dread. The blood drained from her face, her heart pounded a frantic rhythm against her ribs. The world tilted on its axis, the familiar warmth of Ethan's hand a distant memory. "What do you mean, unexpected?" Ethan's voice, laced with a tremor of anxiety, cut through the fog of Emilia's shock. His gaze darted between her ashen face and the doctor's grave expression, a silent plea for an explanation that would make sense of the sudden shift in the atmosphere. The DNA tests confirmed that while one of the babies is indeed Ethan's, the other... The doctor paused, her eyes filled with an unfamiliar pity. "The other child is not a match to either of you." The drive home was a blur, the weight of the doctor's revelation crushing Emilia. Her carefully constructed walls crumbled around her, exposing the raw, vulnerable truth she had fought so hard to conceal. The past, like a relentless predator, had finally caught up, threatening to destroy the fragile peace she had so desperately craved. Ethan's questions, each one laced with a mixture of hurt and confusion, echoed in her ears. How could she explain the unexplainable? How could she confess the sins of her past without shattering the man she had come to love? The truth, a bitter pill she had swallowed years ago, now threatened to poison the only source of happiness she had ever known. The silence in the car was deafening, broken only by Emilia's stifled sobs. Each tear that fell was a testament to the weight of her secret, a constant reminder of the life that had been brutally ripped away from her, and the man who had unknowingly fathered her unborn child. The days that followed were a blur of anguish and despair. Ethan, his heart broken by her betrayal, retreated into himself, the light in his eyes replaced by a dull ache of pain. Emilia, consumed by guilt and shame, withdrew into the depths of her own personal hell, the walls of her isolation closing in around her. She tried to explain, to make him understand the circumstances that had led to this impossible situation, but the words caught in her throat, choked by the fear of losing the only man who had ever truly loved her. The silence between them grew wider with each passing day, a chasm impossible to bridge. The joy of her pregnancy had morphed into a cruel reminder of her past, a constant weight on her soul. The laughter of children playing in the park, once a bittersweet reminder of what she had lost, now mocked her with the possibility of a happiness that seemed destined to elude her grasp. Emilia's past was a haunting melody, its notes echoing through the corridors of her mind. She was thrown back to that fateful night, the night that had shattered her world into a million pieces, leaving her scarred and broken. The memory was vivid, etched into her very being, a constant reminder of the love she had lost and the life that had been so cruelly taken. The faces of her attackers, their eyes filled with a chilling emptiness, flashed before her. the cold metal of the gun pressed against her temple, the smell of gunpowder stinging her nostrils, the blood, her blood, staining the pristine white dress she wore, then darkness. She had woken up in the hospital, her body battered, her spirit broken. The doctors had told her it was a miracle she had survived. But the miracle came with a devastating price, her unborn child, a tiny life extinguished before it had even begun. The pain of that loss was a wound that refused to heal, a constant ache in her heart. The weight of her past proved too heavy to bear. Emilia, her heart shattered, her soul weary, made a decision, a tragic echo of her history. She couldn't escape the ghosts that haunted her, the constant reminder of the life she had lost and the love she had destroyed. A note, penned with trembling hands, lay on the bedside table, a silent testament to her despair. "Forgive me," it read, the words a mere whisper of the agony that consumed her. In her mind, she saw Ethan's face, his eyes filled with the love that she had so desperately craved, and a single tear traced a path down her cheek. Emilia walked to the edge of the bridge, the same bridge where her life had taken a tragic turn all those years ago. Below, the river raged, its currents mirroring the turmoil within her soul. As she took a step forward, a single thought echoed in her mind. In the end, the past is a relentless pursuer, and some wounds are too deep to heal.